Welcome to the Hype Attack Podcast,
where we weigh in on the latest in nerd and pop culture hype.
We are the
We're the excited conversation we all have with our friends
about the nerdy things we love
and geek about.
We are the Hype Attack. I am the hype!
We are vengeance. We are the night. We are the Hype Attack.
That will certainly instill fear throughout all the criminals.
Is Stephen Hawking the Dark Knight?
It was fucking good until that last one, and that's as good as I could make it with the AI editors, but whatever. I still like it.
No, I liked it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hype Attack Podcast. My name is Rudy. I'm here once again with Jermaine, Doug, and Isaac.
Yep. Hi.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
All right. Today we're going to follow up our Superman dive with a Batman dive in honor of Batman Day that just passed recently.
That's right.
But before we jump into that, gentlemen, how did you nerd, or what are you excited about? What are you hyped for?
Oh, man, guys. So if any of you follow our Instagram, every once in a while, when I remember and feel like it, I'll be posting Throwback Thursdays. And one of the first ones I posted was for an old 80s fantasy movie called Kroll. And I just read today that Warner Brothers, along with J.J. Abrams, is looking to reboot it.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Enlighten me.
You don't follow our Instagram where I posted like 2 or 3 sentences about the movie, which should be enough.
Nope. How do you spell it?
Krull. It's like, you know, there's a guy, he's got this cool glaive thing. There's a castle that like disappears and reappears. He's got to go save the princess, and he finds his fellowship of like a cyclops that can see the future, but really can only just see his death. And then there's like a wizard that turns into a goose or something like that. Oh, I don't remember it too much, but
I'm on board.
Yeah. It was in that time period when they were making, you know, Conan's and Willow and Kroll. And I think there's a few others of like that sweet spot in like fun, cheesy
like
fantasy stuff.
Universe,
Looking at the imagery, does it come with or without shrooms?
That was kind of trippy.
Yeah, it was a trivial movie.
Speaking of
that was the time period.
Speaking of Conan the Barbarian, I heard 2 recent little tidbits about those old movies. Not anything new. Calm down, Jermaine. Do you know that the screenplay or whatever has a credit for Oliver Stone as a writer?
Wow.
I don't know if it's him and the director, so I don't know if he like wrote the entire movie or they just brought him in to punch it up afterwards. But like Oliver Stone wrote Conan the Barbarian.
That's cool.
It's like, holy shit. And the second one was in UFC, MMA. The Octagon, the idea for the Octagon came from that movie where Conan the Barbarian's fighting in the slave
I can see that.
battles in the front. Like that arena was an Octagon.
That's so cool.
And that inspired the UFC's Octagon.
Dana White is the one that started the UFC, or is it predate him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think UFC was like the first like official thing, but I think mixed martial arts has been kind of a
Gotcha.
like
Thailand.
like a gym thing. Yeah.
Fuck, do they go hard in Thailand?
Yeah.
As do the lady boys.
Wow.
That was a little too much conviction on that one.
You guys want to take a vacation?
Fuck yeah. Hype Attack live from Thailand. I'm there, man. I will finance that trip myself.
And Rudy has found dick.
Hype Attack International.
Equal opportunity pervert. Come on, man.
I ain't hating.
Speaking of perverted,
What add on to that?
so Cyberpunk 2077 2.0 update came out today.
Oh.
The expansion comes out next week. But this is like the big update. So I started a new character, and you know, I spent all my time making my guy's penis right.
And make sure when the
Sounds
light
about
hits
right.
it.
Yeah,
the light
and
hits
then
it, its full majesty is apparent.
Yeah. And I plan on just spending all my credits banging every hooker in Night City.
As you should.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not even going to finish the game. I'm going to
finished.
get drunk at the
I don't need to
bars.
finish the game.
I'm very excited about that though. I'm sorry, I'm very hyped about that. Like so hyped. The game is one of the greatest games ever. So who wants to go next? Who's hyped about something?
I don't know. I really didn't do much
No, you don't have to have a productive week. There's weeks where I don't do shit.
Hypeness of past and future. You
I
can
got
even be
my-
hyped about being presently here.
I just recently got my PlayStation Mortal Kombat Trilogy game. This just came in the mail today.
Put it up to the camera.
So
Look
I'm
at some
excited to
camera
play
one.
that. PS1.
Jesus. Isaac?
Things I'm hyped about presently is as our audience is listening to this episode now, my wife and I's podcast should be up and running. 2 episodes out, intro and our first review or breakdown.
Nice.
So check that out at wherever podcasts are found, and you can follow us at Forehead FOREHED Films on Instagram.
Oh, I apologize. I never went after that guy who's sitting on the actual forehead.
I thought about that. I was like, I wonder if I wonder if they took care of him for me. But no, it's going to be fun. There are other podcasts that are similar to ours, but none of them have a married couple as the host. So it's going to be fun. That's what I'm hyped for. I just got more equipment in today and was fucking around with stuff yesterday. And much credit to what you do as far as like, post-production, editing, setting everything up, all the technical aspects of it, where we just get to sit down and tell you to hit the button and fuck around. So thank you for that.
We have clips coming out that will reveal the opposite of this attitude now. But anyway,
Look, I get it in writing, so that's what matters.
Real quick, Rudy, before you
do it.
say your hype, I have a story I want to tell. Actually, I think I've already told some of you guys this story. But so my birthday was this last weekend. I was on Batman Day. And then Sunday, I went to Burbank and North Hollywood. And I didn't know this was happening, but there was an event going on in North Hollywood where they like shut down a bunch of like major streets. And everyone was out there riding their bikes. And I shit you not, it was a fucking video game lobby in real life. There was a guy walking with a robot following him. There was people in costumes. Someone rode by on a unicycle. There were people like skating and like rollerblading, but like doing tricks and like hula hoops and colored hair. And like one guy, like just, I looked around and was like, this is a Fortnite lobby and everyone's in their skins and their
You
little
were straight into
add-ons.
Oasis.
Yeah, exactly. It was
The future is now.
absolutely. It was very interesting, but it was very cool. It was also like a little taste of what the world could be like without cars, and I got drunk. Anyway, sorry.
With a world without cars, everything's far though, man. Like
I-
all the cool
yeah.
shit is like a 2-day walk from here.
Well, no, you have jetpacks in the future.
Yeah.
I need the Futurama tubes.
Oh, yeah. From now on, we'll travel in tubes. No, I saw that they're pushing for like the auto driving flying cars and stuff like that with like fucking propeller. Imagine like you call an Uber because you're drunk, and then here comes this quote unquote silent. I fly a drone. Like those things are fucking loud. Imagine a thing the size of a car, and then some drunk ass is like whoops, and just. Oh, he doesn't have to deal with the hangover.
Looking like that blood smear from Indiana Jones.
Yes.
The guy turns around. Anyway, for me, 2 things. Loki season 2 is coming up pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for that. That season 1 is still my favorite Marvel Disney Plus TV content so far. Like all the other ones were okay. She-Hulk was fine. What else has there been? The WandaVision.
Winter Soldier.
That was a better one.
Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier.
Soldier. That was cool. I think Loki season 1 had the most like story progression from what has happened before going into the next phase.
Yeah.
I think
Even
they-
kind of like explaining the whole time travel of that world.
and setting up the was it the one who survives or
He Who Remains.
oh he who remains. But yeah, that's and the trailers are dropping for season 2, and those look amazing too.
Comes out October. When does it come out?
For the
October 14th? 7th?
Just say October, and then we'll edit in like someone saying a number.
Comes out October.
Coming out October.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
What I like about this segment is that it makes me like dive into like what's coming out, the news more than just I skim my timelines on whatever my social media is. But I found a book that's dropping in December. It's a follow up to Aliens, the second one and kind of the third one. It's called Aliens Bishop, and it's set after the events of those 2 movies, where how Bishop was like cut in half and in Aliens 3, they still had his half of the body on the little escape pod, and he's like, unplug me. I don't want to live anymore. Well, apparently they boot his ass back up and give him a new body because the powers that be want the information stored in him about the aliens, the xenomorphs.
Oh.
So he gets reactivated, and then like a race ensues to get him. Like the Colonial Marines are looking for him, Weyland Yutani Corporation is looking for him, and then his original creator kind of has his own like agenda in that too. So that looks like it's gonna be a cool book. I look forward to reading.
Cool. And I'm sure like aliens are going to pop up also.
Hopefully,
yeah. Neat. That sounds really good.
but that's pretty much what I'm hyped for this week.
I don't know if we're going to cover it later, but I do believe you mentioned on last episode that we wanted to talk about what our fans are going to be called.
Oh shit! Yeah, let's have that conversation. Fuck yeah.
Okay, because I came up with a couple, and with the help of some family and friends, I only came up with like 2.
I still stand behind my 2, but like first and foremost, let's take butt plug. Let's take the butt plugs out and set that to the side because I think that's an unrealistic.
Throw it in a trash can.
It's an unrealistic name for our.
And I'm gonna trash dive because it's unfortunately like in my head sticking.
I think we can still make the joke, all the time, but I don't think.
Here's the thing. It's like with nicknames, right? You don't make your own nickname. It just kind of happens. And that thing just sort of happened and it stuck. Even though we were joking about it, it kind of like that butt plug kind of felt right.
It slotted in just right. I think as a joke amongst us, it slotted in fine.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to feel like
we're referring to them.
I want to be a fan of the Hype Attack, but I'm not gonna call myself a butt plug. I mean, in which case, fuck you. But
Exactly.
but no.
Ultimately, it's going to be their
it.
choice.
Yeah,
But we want to throw it out there that like
I think we can still keep butt plugs as a fun little joke, maybe some merch.
Exactly.
Again, if anyone ever asks me to sign one, I will be the happiest person.
for the deeper fans. Whenever we start Patreon.
The deeper fans, yeah.
I'm
Depending on
I'm absolutely going to have a fucking butt plug plushie commissioned.
I'm telling you, I really fucking want one.
Yeah.
But it's like it's versions of us as butt plugs. So you push it and it's fuck right off. You push it, you're trash.
A little sound box in it.
Push it.
No, keep spitballing it. Keep
Anyway,
spitballing
okay. So what was some of the other ideas you had for the names?
Okay, so since we're the Hype Attack, what if our listeners are the victims? No two on the nose. So that was thrown around there.
No, save that one. I kind of like it. What else you got?
To go super cheesy and really on the nose, the Hype Attackers. If you want to keep it like PG and Boy Scouty, I'm a Hype Attacker.
Get out.
I'm an attacker.
It's terrible.
Ugh, attacker. Yeah. I didn't say it was great. That's all I could come up with.
Remember that old school
that
hook
was clean.
when they just hook them off stage.
Oh,
She need the CW crowd to come dance you off.
There's a part of me
I'm
that's
Hispanic. Sorry, I'm Hispanic. So it's like, fuera, fuera.
there's a part of me that's been wanting to like lean into the attack part of our name with like, oh, here's some stuff you can attack. Like, let's attack this. And then I realized like, I don't want to get fucking flagged. Like, I don't want something like
I know, as I said
Instagram to
it.
get flagged for like,
As I said
they're
it.
instigating violence. They're telling them to attack this brewery. It's like, no, it's a nerd brewery. I want them to go.
No, they're not. We're not. They're victims. That's better. I mean,
I take victims.
But here's why, though. It's like
The victimizers.
because you got to listen to this shit.
Call them the victimized.
Hi, I'm a victim. Oh God. Shh. I'll sign.
Do you remember that scene in Spawn
Yeah.
where
I'm not the
because I forgot.
yeah, he had his own thing of the vibrator.
Yeah.
The violator.
Violate.
I am violator.
Oh man. What do you guys have?
So I mean I still have my fucking hypochondriacs.
Hypochondriac, hypermaniac.
The hypomaniacs, which is fucking
like
cheesy.
Hypomaniac, yeah.
Hulkamania.
It's time for
it's an Animaniacs.
Or Animaniacs too, same
yeah.
thing. No, the Hulk Hogan thing was the first thing in my mind. But yeah, it works for
Hell yeah,
Animaniacs,
brother.
too. So I like those two.
a little more manly, a little more testosterone.
I kind of like victims though.
I don't have that.
Victims of the hype.
Oh.
Why do I picture like our fans like it's like a photo and it's like soft focus and black and white and then it slow fade. Victims of the hype.
Yeah.
Just a chalk outline with like a
Oh my god!
like a trailer of like fucking the original Batman versus Superman movie playing next to it, like a murder weapon. You were a victim of the hype.
What else they got?
No, those are the only two.
There is a lot
came
of
up
like
with.
hashtag or like social media. What's the word I'm looking for? Viability? I don't know. Yeah, with victims. It's like good photo ops. Like if we ever do a photo op at a convention, no, I'm dreaming big, guys.
Hey,
Dream
fucking
on.
dream, yeah.
Dream
Yeah,
on.
do the chalk outlines or like have a chunk of a car that people can lay in.
Oh my god!
Super dark with that one for Halloween episodes. I kind of like victims.
Yeah, it feels better than butt plug. Victims always feel better than butt
Jermaine,
plugs.
did you have any, or did you want to comment on any of the ones we have?
It's gonna throw a butt fucking
Oh,
origin.
no.
Yeah, it's all better than butt plug.
Sorry,
I'm
I have
assuming,
stupidity
right?
in my eye.
Oh yeah, anything's better than butt plugs.
This is something I think we should put out to the fans, though. Like put it
Well,
on,
yeah,
put
no,
it on the
so I'm writing a
Instagram.
list. Okay, we
Like,
got-
Okay, look, do you guys want to be called victims or butt plugs?
Well, we'll make a short list. So far, we have 3 viable ones. Maybe we come back in another week and then add like maybe 1 or 2 more,
It's hypomaniacs,
And then-
right?
Yeah, hypomaniacs.
and then put out a poll.
Hypermaniacs.
See if anyone mounts it.
Hyperomaniacs.
No, hypomaniacs.
Yeah.
Hypochondriacs.
I'm actually a hypochondriac, so I feel real sensitive about that. I don't like you guys making fun of me.
Yeah, fuck off.
Fuck right
I'll
up.
just sneeze in your general direction and watch you cry.
In your general direction.
Because yeah, we'll have to keep this in the lab and we'll come back to it.
Well, fucking, and I swear to God, butt plug is going on the poll. Just for fun. And if everyone fucking votes for that one, I swear to God, I will call you all butt plugs until the day you die.
The best part of it is like if anyone's following the Instagram that doesn't actually listen to the show, they'll be like, "Why the fuck is butt plugs on there?" Like, what? The others make sense, but and then we were like, "Oh, you really ought to listen to the whole show."
All right, guys. So on to the subject of the day, Batman. Batman, and once again, we'll be narrowing our focus to Batman in new media, cartoons, TV, movies, as opposed to the comics, which we could spend years plowing through all those
Yeah,
golden
deservedly.
age, silver age comics,
But just good Batman knowledge
his damn-
in general.
It was
his
so
damn rainbow costumes, and
what? It was so funny hearing you guys try to reel each other back in. Like, no, we're not talking about the comics. Yeah, but this happened. No. And I'm like, I don't know anything about like the comics, so I'm safe. And you guys are like, no, we can't. We just can't.
If we want to touch on the comics for either of these two characters, I think it would be like more structured than what we normally would have to do. I think we'd have to really sit down together and pick like what's an hour and a half to 2 hours. I mean, we could split it into multiple shows, but like I think we'd have to really kind of reel it in and bring up like come in with a plan.
No,
See, but that's the thing. I
Because
just
there's
look at
so
it
much.
like general facts or knowledge about Superman, not necessarily like a Star Wars timeline, like this happened. This
Right,
happened,
right,
this
right,
happened.
right.
But just, when you're, for me, it's like when you're talking about a specific character, you're just gathering all that knowledge about that character and then you're just getting it out there rather than, like that timeline. Superman died, yada, 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 the reign of Superman.
Mhm.
I don't think you need all that, but that's just me.
how dare you bring up Superman in a Batman episode?
Do you not know who I am?
Anyway,
Anytime disrespect Batman.
just a little background. Batman debuted in the 27th issue of Comic Book Detective Comics on March 30th, 1939. Originally credited to Bob Kane, but now they're starting to include his writing partner, Bill Finger.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched, there's a documentary on, I think, Hulu. I don't know if it's still on there. I watched it years ago of Batman and Bill, where they go through that whole drama of Bill Finger not getting credit and everything. And it's a really good documentary. Suggest.
Just seeing the character as envisioned before, Bill Finger made the changes, I was like, holy shit. It would have been a character fit for like Jermaine's fandom as opposed to the world's.
Ah,
Anyway,
Do you guys Before we dive into this, do you guys know the 3 characters Batman is inspired by?
3 characters, fictional or?
Yeah, 3 fictional characters that he's inspired by.
No, speak.
Probably Zorro.
Zorro's one.
Oh, duh. Fuck.
Zorro's one.
That's a heavy thing.
And then there's 2 more.
Dracula?
Dracula's another
No
one.
shit, really?
Yeah, Dracula's another one.
Fuck.
Guys, I'm fucking good at this. Let's go. Okay, one more. Oh, shit.
Zorro, Dracula, and Sherlock Holmes.
I will give you guys a hint. No, not Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, stupid.
It's
I'm bad at this.
it's
I didn't even
sort of like a character that was in the animated series.
Poison Ivy, Mad Hatter.
No, like the Gray Ghost, like ish.
The Phantom? Spirit.
Phantom of the Opera.
No.
What the hell?
Do you guys give up?
The Phantom, the Spirit. What was the other one? No, that's what I'm thinking of. It's the Phantom. And go ahead. No, not the Phantom, the Spirit.
Yeah, I'm only trying to
Do you
think of
guys
joke
give up?
answers.
You guys give up?
Yeah, I fucking give up.
The Shadow. No.
The Shadow! Fuck
the Shadow.
The Shadow. No.
That, I remember watching The Shadow, the Alec Baldwin, as a kid, thinking like, this kind of reminds me of Batman.
That's who I was thinking of, but for some reason I thought that was a Spirit.
Yeah,
Oh, you thought it was
yeah, I couldn't think of the name of
those two
it.
mixed up.
one and the same.
Dang, that's pretty good. Nice. I learned something today. Hit the button.
All right.
I think a lot of people probably learned something there. Batman.
Anyway,
Better not find cocaine in your drawer.
Oh, this tequila.
So-
we had one shot.
all right. So let's go around the room.
Isn't that scary? This is me sober.
What is your earliest memory of Batman? Where did you run into him?
That's a good place to start.
Grocery store, laundromat.
Hanging out at the circus.
A bum in a $30 Halloween costume.
Shit, I'd probably have to say it might have been the Michael Keaton Batman.
First
For
Batman.
me, anyways. Yeah,
Really?
like the first. Yeah,
The
like
movie.
besides having, like the toys and stuff,
Mhm.
And then of course, yeah, they had like, the old cartoons
Mhm.
and whatnot. But actually beginning to like Batman was probably the Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I can see that. Because he's still everyone's Batman.
I heard they did a poll and they said that he's America's Batman.
Wow.
The poll spoke.
The
The internet has spoken, Douglas.
internet is so right on so many things.
I detect sarcasm in your voice.
Just a little. My first, the Adam West Batman 66, the 60s Batman. I know I watched that as a kid. And I think it was Kevin Smith that explained this, how Batman is just one of those characters where you can have so many different versions. And obviously Michael Keaton's Batman versus Adam West's Batman is so different, but they're both Batman,
Oh yeah.
right? Like that is Batman. That is Batman. Ben Affleck is Batman. Like it's kind of a weird character in that way. I mean, I don't know if fans today, I'm sure if James Gunn changes Batman up, people are going to throw a fit. But it is interesting how Batman does exist in both those more comedic, campy takes like Batman 66, or
Yeah.
there was the cartoon Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
And then your Michael Keaton Batmans and your Ben Afflecks and stuff like that.
I do feel like he's one of those characters that everybody kind of has their favorite version of him.
Oh yeah, just like I was saying last week, where wherever you grew up, like whichever point you grew up at,
Yeah.
or what you watched as a kid is probably going to stick with you.
Yeah, true.
Or did you have where you started?
I
from?
was just answering the question, and then
You looked right at me.
because it's your turn to answer the question.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And
Sorry.
go.
Yeah. I need to be, excuse me. I'm nothing without a cue. It's so funny you said the Michael Keaton one. So I again, born in the 1990s, and the animated series came out in 92, 93.
Around there.
Yeah, and so I remember watching that because I'm a kid. I love cartoons, and I watched the hell out of that. I watched the fuck out of Mask of the Phantasm, but I can't tell you when the last time I seen it, and so I don't remember what the fuck the story was about. Does anybody remember the story of the Mask of the
It
Phantasm?
was about the Phantasm and his mask.
Thank you. I cleared it up, man. I was gonna Google the shit out of it, but
I'm with you.
hit the button again. We learned some shit today.
I've been meaning to rewatch that because I see it listed as like, what's the top Batman movies, and that one's usually up there. So it's like,
I'm pretty sure I ran that tape. I wore it out. animated series. And then as far as Michael Keaton Batman, it was not the first one with Jack Nicholson as a Joker, but it was Batman Returns. That still holds a place in my heart. Just it's like Tim Burton did something with that first. When did it come out? 89? 88?
Returns?
No, the first one.
89.
89. And then when Returns came out, it's like he fucking dialed it in. You know, it's one of those movies where I'm like, yeah, I don't care that there's multiple villain. You know, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman and Danny DeVito as a Penguin fucking hits. It always hits.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like still holds up. And it wasn't just cool because I was a kid and it was freaky and it was Tim Burton and he was, you know, the hot thing at the time. But it hits everyone. Like it's a star-studded cast and everyone's performances within their character is everything in my mind in that Batman world. It's perfect.
I do feel at the time that he was the right director for that movie because of the look and the feel and the vibe of just the Batman world and Gotham and just, you know, it's just a different.
And Danny Elfman.
Yes, but it's a different setting and it just feels like a Batman universe.
It feels of all the live actions, for me, it felt the most like Gotham. You know, because I mean, you know, Gotham within its name, Goth, and you have Tim Burton, and it's perfect.
Yeah, it feels like the most. I don't want to say the most comic booky, but it was just that perfect blend of the campy '60s Batman. The idea of comic books being a little bit larger than life. And then you put the Tim Burton goth darkness twist to it. And you end up with this kind of perfect formula of something that's still a very not adult themed. I mean, they're not like, well,
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. That's adult theme, buddy.
Yeah. But, you know,
Talk about imprinting.
It was a more serious take. It was a darker take, but yet it was still that kind of fun comic book campy thing. So it really was the first two. It's a shame.
I will fast forward right quick and I
quite
will
a shame.
say
I know exactly what you're talking about.
the Batman kind of brought me back to that a little bit. The way that it looked, like all his devices and things that he was using, that was the one aspect of the Batman with Battison that I really liked about that movie was just how everything looked, like the technology that he was using and everything, like even the Batmobile, but it just felt like that was the Batman world.
The Batman, not to spend too much there, whatever. The Batman, to me, I think you're right. They did such a good job of just setting up Gotham, setting up that world, but almost maybe to their detriment. Like, you know, like a lot of these movies are kind of doing these days where they're a little too focused maybe on setting up the next movie or the next series of the franchise.
I feel that. Yeah.
But the Batman didn't suffer from it too much. But as a fan of Batman, I appreciated the hell out of they just like jump right into it. Here's Gotham. Here's some stuff going on. And I think that's maybe why they were able to spend some more time giving us Gotham instead of forcing us to watch the Waynes die again.
Pearls.
So
Damn, I forgot to bring my pearls in for this episode.
Oh, yeah.
I have nothing to clutch.
Just started with the slow motion pearls dropping on the ground.
We'll get in post.
I do have another fun fact, but like I said, Google this stuff, make sure it's don't be believing what you hear on the Hyphatech. So I did a little bit of research and I actually heard that Bruce Wayne's name actually comes from real life heroes. The first one was Robert the Bruce, who was a Scottish national hero. And the second one was Mad Anthony Wayne, a hero of the American Revolution.
Never heard of. I've heard of the first one, Robert the Bruce.
Anyone who's ever watched Braveheart.
That's probably where I heard it from. I haven't watched Braveheart in a while.
It's on my list.
You haven't seen fucking Braveheart?
Thank you for promoting my show. Move on.
Fuck off. I ran across Batman for the first time in that TV show, the Batman 66.
Yeah.
Like I would watch the reruns of that on whatever, daytime show it came out on. And then every once in a while, I would run across Super Friends, those little short cartoons.
Super Friends, yeah.
Like Wonder Twins in the form of an ice butt plug and, just shit like that.
It's happening.
And
Jesus Christ.
So that shit got me like, I knew who Batman was, but it wasn't until the Michael Keaton movie then that my wig was just peeled back off of my head. I was like, holy shit, this is what Batman, should be or could be. Like he's not like, running around with a fucking gigantic Acme bomb trying to find a place to throw it. Like, wow, this is amazing.
But
I love that.
But you got the parallel to the Nolan series.
Oh,
that's what I was
somebody
just about
pointed
to
that
say.
out. I was like, that's good. I like that.
Wait, what parallel?
the bomb?
The fucking
Yeah.
There's a
With the
Batman.
I
bomb, where
didn't
he's
think about
running with the
that
bomb.
shit.
Yeah. The third Batman movie.
That's funny.
Where he's leaving in the bat plane with the.
What is it? Dark Knight Rises?
He takes the big sphere
No,
out
Yeah,
over
it was
and
then. It was
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, it was a parallel to that.
into
Yeah,
Gotham
yeah.
Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, shit.
What's cool?
Hold on, let me cue the fucking shit back up. I fucking learned something today. Wow.
What's cool about the fact that Batman '89 was such a moment for everybody was that era, the '80s, was when comic books in general were becoming more like mature. That was like the big push. DC was really, really pushing it because at that same time period is when we got Frank Miller's The Dark Knight, right?
Oh yeah, that's a game changer. Right
So
there.
I think that time period, DC, thankfully was willing to say, you know what, we can do adult comic book stuff. So I think we got it in the comic books, and then we got it in that movie, and thank God it worked because I think that's what really led the way into so much more.
Oh yeah, those were the first two that Superman and Batman. Those are the first movies that launched the superhero like genre in films that says, "Oh, we can actually make this happen,"
Yeah.
and people will actually come watch it.
Do you guys think that it would have been cool, like back then, for them to, do the whole connected universe thing?
I see. I was just thinking about that shit too. Like I
always
see
thought about
like
that, 'cause we-
Photoshop pictures of them like together, like
Yeah.
even the old school Wonder Woman.
Mhm.
And that shit looks, it's a cool picture. It's a cool visual. I don't know because the way special effects are for Superman, like how you mentioned that he doesn't really like even throw a punch in that first movie. Like what would there be for him to do in a superhero team up movie? Like what threat could they imagine that would test all three of them with the effects they had back then?
Yeah, I think it would be limited to like cameos, and some of those movies. I don't think the Tim Burton Batman movies, but a lot of those movies would always kind of mention Gotham or Metropolis, or they wouldn't mention those DC cities. But so to answer your question, like I think, and to Rudy's point, I think just in like a cameo, like Superman needs Batman to look something up on his back computer and you get like the little flash. I think that would have been cool. And again, to just realize they're all in the same world.
Yeah.
So if it were, because I know there's like the time jump between the Superman movies and then Batman. So would you have wanted, because obviously it'd be Christopher Reeve Superman, but as far as the Batman, would you have wanted Adam West, or is that too early? Or would you wanted Keaton?
No, it would have to been Keaton.
Yeah, it would have to be Keaton.
Fucking
Have to be.
Wes is too campy for a fucking team up movie.
Okay, and I want to talk about that too, and I want to go to, but I've checked out some of the Adam West, but I don't really get it. You know what I mean? Like I never not look at it and go, Jesus, people fucking watch that. And I know people are going to come at me and they're going to hate me. I just never, I'm more like, well, the grounded, and then like, I know I need the darkness of the Dark Knight. So I don't exactly get that. The closest thing that I ever came to it was it Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever?
I mean,
That's the closest.
I'm pretty sure in the comics in his early beginnings, he did kind of talk like that. Like, come on, chum, like, let's go fight crime. Like,
Well, I think he started off like pretty dark at first, but then again, there was that moment when the government kind of forced comic books to change their
That was the whole comics code thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had all that stuff.
Because Batman was walking around popping caps in people's asses.
But
He used to
seen
have,
that.
yeah, he
And
used to have that
guns.
gun.
to answer your question, I think it goes back to something that I've talked about before with, prior to this world of streaming, shows had less competition because they were only competing with things in that time slot.
Good point.
So as a kid at that time of day when the reruns are on for us, or if you're old and you were alive back in the 60s, like that time of day you turn on, it's, oh fuck, sweet, Batman's on. And you sat there and you watched it and again, you didn't have much to compare it to, and it was kind of a cool little thing.
It was
And
just a different time period.
Come back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and yeah, it's a different time period.
Yeah, because when you look at the cheesiness of Scooby Doo cartoons, the Zoinks and the G Willikers and all that stuff, you had a little bit of that in the Adam West Batman. All the
Oh yeah, it's
all
majorly campy.
yeah, like it was all that stuff in there. But like I said, like I just feel it was just a different time period, and that stuff was just in at that time.
So then I'll ask our audience this question: does anybody who listens to the Highway Type podcast have any of you guys or gals? Do you guys still watch or go back and watch any of the Adam West Batmans? Hit us up in the comments.
Yeah,
and
that's a good
DMs.
question. I haven't done it in a while, but
There's one episode that sticks out to me. I don't even remember what the rest of the episode was about. But the Penguin disguises himself as someone else, like a witness that Batman's looking for, and Batman takes him back to the Batcave, and when he gets there, the Penguin has carried with him dehydrated goons. So when he gets there, he lays out the piles of like dust and like hits him with water, and all of a sudden his fucking goons pop up, and like they're fighting, and Batman hits one of them, and it just poof, like he disappears. He's like, "You used the wrong kind of water," and like it's hard water, it's not soft water. So,
I love it.
So now they're dead. But what I remember the most was when they went through the process of dehydrating the goons, and they like collapsed into like piles of dust. They leave a little broom and fucking dustpan as they're gathering them up, and it's Burgess Meredith.
Burgess Meredith or Burgess Meredith.
Burgess Meredith, whatever. They're sweeping him up. It's him and Catwoman, and he's like, "Careful, every one of them has a mother."
love it.
That line just fucking. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but that line has stayed with me all these years.
So then then is it safe to say that it was a type of show where like when you're watching it, you go, that's a stupid line, but I like it because it's a silly line.
But it's
like it's
fucking
meant to be
Gilligan's
that.
Island, right? That was the same time period, I think, right? It's like it's those same
think so.
shows of just that weekly,
You
just
had
fucking
all that
silliness.
stuff. Yeah, you just had all that stuff. The Green Hornet.
Uh-huh.
Didn't they have a crossover
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
did a crossover.
with the Adam West Batman? But then you had Get Smart.
Get Smart.
Yeah.
Get Smart. It was just that era where the writing was
I
just
feel that. Okay.
kooky, and you had a phone in your shoe. You had a bat phone.
Yeah.
In your car.
And I got to say, like, I do enjoy like the clips of like Adam West, well, Robin, it seems that we've been thwarted again. All right, I'm sold on it. I get it. I just because I never was like I'm gonna go watch it. I just don't get it. But this is what I'm here for. Is to learn.
I also love that Caesar Romero never shaved his mustache.
Yeah,
just
Never
a
dyed
white,
his
just a
hair.
white paint right over the mustache. Good for him.
But like I remember watching that shit, and I remember just like Doug said, like I didn't have anything else to compare it to. Like I watched that and I'm like, okay, that was a Batman show. Like that's what Batman was to me until I ran into the hardcore movie version, and then from there, that was like, oh, there's comics. I'm like, give me the comics.
So I heard that Joel Schumacher designed that world to be campy like the Adam West thing, but using the leather suits and everything. Did it just? I mean, because I haven't gone back and watched it in quite a few years. I used to again watch all of those movies over and over as a kid. But does it not scratch that same itch as Adam West Batman?
No, it went from it went from Adam West to fucking Michael Keaton, and then back to fucking Clooney and Kilmer. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, how do you bottom out on the first two movies and they just give me the tip for the second two? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
This is not cool. Like, if you want to make a fucking tribute to Batman 66, go make a fucking
I
tribute.
mean, the thing that came
Yeah.
out of it was Kiss from a Rose, so win.
Oh, you know what? I still singing that song too. This fucking
It's a goddamn good song. Everyone.
Kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the market of you, stranger feels. Yeah.
God damn. Is anyone else hard?
Yeah. Speaking of bat nipples, my nipples are hard.
Yeah. Speaking of bad nipples, I knew someone that, was a lot younger.
This is headed in a dark direction.
Oh, yeah, let me finish my point.
Speaking of
Yeah,
bat nipples,
sorry, let me finish my
someone who's really young. I'm sorry,
I
I'm sorry,
used
go
to-
ahead.
I used to, tutor and stuff. and
Robin.
teach. Anyway, their Batman movie was Batman and Robin because that's like the first one that she remembered watching. And she was like, I love that movie. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what the fuck? How do you like that goddamn movie out of all of them? Out of all of them. But it's, again, that's
Called
the
guilty
one
pleasures.
you watch as a kid and it's got Batgirl in it, which, she, I'm sure that was exciting for her to see. Like,
Did you
That was
guys
exciting for
hear?
all of us
Did you
to
guys
see.
hear? Speaking of that movie, Marlon Wayans was supposed to be Robin in that movie,
about that,
and he signed the contract and everything, but for some reason it didn't go through. But he still to this day gets residuals from that movie.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's crazy, right?
that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood.
Another little tidbit from the original Batman was an article I read recently. Michael Keaton vetoed Michelle Pfeiffer's involvement in the first one because she was up for Vicky Vale.
Oh.
Oh.
And apparently those two had a relationship in the past. I don't remember from the article if it had been one of those things where he cheated on his wife that he was currently with, but apparently they were separated and they were trying to get back together. He was trying to reconcile with his original wife when that filming happened and didn't want Michelle Pfeiffer, like, shaking her ass by him in the trailer.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to be in that first movie.
Hmm.
But by
Worked
the
out.
time the second movie rolled around, he had already divorced his first wife. So he's like, "Oh, fuck it. Bring her around.
Kim Basinger
Bring her
played
to me."
Kim Basinger played Vicky Vale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale. You remember that fucking soundtrack to Michael Keaton, the first one? With Prince?
Yeah, Prince
And all
was-
those
yeah.
songs?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude,
All hail,
what
party
a
man.
fucking banger. Like, I wish, fear of getting it kicked off. Like, man, fucking play it. You know what I'm saying? Jesus.
Oh, hail.
I did hear too. Also, just like
Ding, ding.
in the modern times, this day and age, how you hear certain people get casted for certain characters, that they get the backlash.
Oh, yeah.
I also heard Michael Keaton got a lot of
Oh, yeah.
hate
Oh, yeah.
and everything for.
He was doing comedies. You know what I mean? So, like, as far as like my era, when they were casting Ben Affleck as Batman, they're like, that guy that made the fucking shitty Daredevil movie and blah blah blah. I was like, hey. All right, everyone fucking starts from somewhere. If you really go far back enough and look at the shit that they gave Michael Keaton, like that guy started off in fucking comedies. So many actors that we think of like, serious, dramatic actors. Did they all start? Tom Hanks, bosom
Oh
buddies.
yeah, Tom
Come on.
Hanks,
yeah.
Bruce Willis, all those
Bruce,
guys.
yeah. Dude, when Bruce Willis came out in fucking Die Hard, they're like, this guy, the
Guy
comedian?
from wasn't he on like Love Boat or something?
I have no
Moonlighting.
idea.
He had a,
Moonlighting. Yeah.
him and, I forget her name, Sybil Shepherd.
So I love, and to bring that back around, like I love when they cast Robert Pattinson as Batman. Because I was like, fuck. I mean, he was already proving his acting chops after Twilight in between that. And I thought he was a stellar actor. And, you're like, oh, this fucking guy. And then he fucking does it and kills it.
See, my thing with anybody getting cast for any part, for whatever movie, stopped when Heath Ledger
I fucking
got the role.
I was hot when I
As a
heard he was
Joker.
going to be the Joker. I was like, fucking
Everybody-
rabble. No,
Everybody
fuck
and their
you.
mama
Some things I
was
hate about
Yeah.
Heath
was
Ledger. Fuck
those,
you.
was those two grumpy old men in the Muppet Show talking shit, about Heath Ledger, broke back, this and yada yada yada. And even I felt a certain way, but man, when he came on screen, that first time you saw Joker on screen, I was like, oh my goodness.
So which one are you, Statler or are you older?
Yeah, look that shit up, didn't you, motherfucker?
I think the Joker is just gonna be one of those characters that every like people are going to be fan casting the Joker, I think, constantly.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think that was the thing when there was the new Batman was out. It's like, oh, who's going to be our Joker? You know, everyone had their thoughts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one of my favorites, Robin Williams. People were talking about Robin Williams being the Joker, and I think there's a video out there of him talking about it, and like his interpretation of what the Joker is like that. That's awesome. Like
Yeah.
Robin Williams could have absolutely been like a very interesting, different Joker.
Oh yeah.
He would
been
be
very
like different, like a Caesar Romero.
Yeah,
You know, Willem Dafoe. He's got like those features as far as the Batman games. That look is concerned.
yeah, and that's the thing with the characters. They've changed the look so many times, and but the attitude's still kind of there. And yeah, Heath Ledger. I was just as like shocked, but I'm generally willing to like, yeah, give him a shot. And
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Ever since that, I give everybody a chance, like, because that performance was phenomenal.
There's no words for it.
I wanted Heath Ledger spitting blood when I heard about that cast, and I was pissed.
And then after he saw the performance,
And
he wanted
after-
him to spit in his mouth.
Yes,
He wanted to do
I
Brokeback Mountain too.
I
with
wanted
Heath
to
Ledger.
drink his fucking bathwater. It was so good, and from that point on, Chuck Green says that anytime anyone's cast as anything, I'm like, you never know.
yeah.
How about you just
Exactly,
wait
you never
until
know.
Yeah.
they actually turn in the performance, and then you can shit all over it.
Because I do like Jack Nicholson's Joker, but it's different from Heath Ledger's Joker, which I do like as well.
So if the listeners go back to our villains discussion, I forget the episode number. I talked about like as far as what I thought about the Joker character in general, and to sort of nutshell it here, the Joker is a really fun character because he's never really one thing. You know, in some versions he's the clown prince, and other ones he's the anarchist, another one he's the psychopath, he's the gangster. It's all these different versions. So when a new one comes out, and of course people are going to compare it to like Heath Ledger, I don't want to see the same Joker. I want to see it change because that is sort of, you know, the character of the Joker, that ambiguity of the character, the chaos.
Oh yeah, I don't mind the seriousness, but at the same time, I still want a little bit of that dark, kooky humor in there, where you get the acid out the flower, or like the hand, you know, zapper, you know, whatever you want to say. I like all those elements with the Joker.
I also just want to add, like, I don't think it's completely fair to shit on an actor for maybe decisions that were made above, you know, the ultimately
sure.
the writing and the style. You look at Jared Leto,
Oh yeah,
you know, Jared Leto didn't show up and decide like, I want to have damage tattooed on my forehead and play the gangster version, right? Like that was a decision made by the writers and you know, everyone involved in producing that whole DCEU. And they brought in Leto, and I thought Leto did a good job for that version, right? And so it's like it sucks that people would give
yeah.
Jared Leto a bad rap
And then it kills
for
me
that
too
performance.
because they came back and was like, maybe we shouldn't have did all the tattoos and made him that. And I'm like,
I just read that
Yeah.
recently.
you guys,
Air kind of
yeah.
apologized, like, maybe I wouldn't have done it. In hindsight, maybe that wasn't the best idea.
Yeah, it's one of the things you just stick with it, run with it. I was gonna say, but you know, but it was Jared Leto's decision to like gift his co-stars the dinner. What is that called? The kind of acting
Method acting.
acting.
Yeah. His backstage shit, sure, whatever, shit on it. But on-screen performance, I think you gotta judge it for what it is.
Oh no, I think he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, though. That David Ayer keeps calling for the Ayer cut of of Suicide Squad, because apparently there was a ton more Joker in there that did more credit to his performance than
And he did
what they
regret.
cut.
He also regretted not making the Joker the main villain. So I was like,
I mean, tattoos aside, I was intrigued by that version because exactly that. Like I wanted to see more. You know, it was just so much snippets that you judge it on that.
okay.
Plus, it was really fun, that movie Suicide Squad. we got that little bit of just Batman chasing Harley and Joker in the Lamborghini, and
what a fun
it was
sequence.
just a fun little sequence.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's fun about doing those kind of movies where it's like, look, you didn't need to set it up. We didn't need to know what Joker and Harley were doing. We didn't,
But that's
just to give
why-
us that fun little action.
That's why they should have just let Zack Snyder cook.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm going to, since we're talking about the Joker, I'm going to throw this in here. Do you guys like the origin of Batman's family getting killed by the Joker, or do you guys like his family getting killed by just a random thug?
Random.
Yeah. Random.
I think it makes the character more. I'm gonna say pop. Like it makes it more like holy shit. Like all this was triggered by just this random guy in an alley, and it wasn't like a big overarching. Everything's connected. Like
Right.
Yeah.
the Joker in his youth.
Because the thug sort of represents the darkness of Gotham itself, with everything wrong with it. The Joker, yeah, you can't, I don't know, it does something else to it.
So, with that said, with the killing of his parents, and then him becoming Batman, I also recently read in the Flash movie with Michael Keaton, because Michael Keaton used to kill people. So there was a theory that
Wait, what?
As the Batman in the movies.
the Batman Michael Keaton.
Okay.
Stay with me. Stay with me, people.
Did you?
Stay with
okay,
me.
okay.
He said Michael Keaton used to kill people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay, I have ADHD,
Michael
so
Keaton-
you gotta like
Michael
fucking
Keaton
spell shit
Batman.
out,
what
dude.
fucking information have you come across?
My God.
I said the Flash.
Fuck, dude. 22
you
episodes
just
in,
said
we're
the
gonna get
Flash.
sued.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I said the Flash.
All
Stay
right.
with me, people. Stay with me.
Stay on target.
Are
What's
you
it
guys
just mean?
here?
I'm
Are
here,
you
man.
guys here?
I'm here. Go
Okay, here we go. So there was the fan theory that Michael Keaton's Batman, the reason why he retired was because Michael Keaton's Batman didn't play, and he actually killed his villains in his universe. So that was a kind of like a theory that people came up with to say why he retired. But then I just recently read that the director said that Michael Keaton's Batman really retired because he got into a conflict with one of the villains or somebody within that universe, and he accidentally killed the kid.
Oh.
Him doing that to somebody else, taking their parents, like how his parents were taken from him, made him hang up his cape.
Sweet irony.
So that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to do to that character.
Yeah.
For him to accidentally kill, a kid, like it'd have been worse if he accidentally killed parents in front of the kid.
Or I may have got that wrong. It could be a kid's parents.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that
that would be
makes sense.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
that
Like
might have been
a
it.
scene,
Yeah,
like,
that might have been it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would break him.
a kid's parent. Yeah. So he was kind of shook up that he did that to somebody else. The same thing that happened to him. So
Now, since we're talking about the Flash, and there's that scene in the beginning where Batfleck gets a lasso of truth, and what's the line he says? He says, "I could actually do more good with the money that I have," or something along the lines of that.
which has been like an internet meme, I think, for a
Yeah.
while.
So let's explore the psychology of Batman.
Okay.
he's a psychopath.
He is right.
a rich psychopath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he was broken at a young age,
for sure.
and that all
At the
that
age
wealth,
of what, 8?
Yeah, all that wealth has allowed him to wage a one man war on until he spawns his whole Bat family.
All that money gave him the voices in his head, to say, "Oh, we can do this." That money was, yes,
Just
yes,
like you mentioned,
yes.
I think it
Yeah.
was it the last episode where you were talking about him and how he identifies himself?
Oh, correct. Yeah, yeah.
Like he sees himself as Batman, and
He
Bruce
is
Wayne
Batman.
is just the mask he wears to walk around in public.
And can we fucking talk about how much of an enabler that like Alfred and Lucius Fox and everyone else in the Bat family are? Okay,
well, I'm assuming like
he writes the check, so or he signs the check, so fuck it.
I'm assuming, Gotham's got such a long history of just not being able to stop the crime or like, complete ineptitude from the government, from the police force, that someone with obvious talent wants to come along and like try to do something about it. Like I could see people being like, yeah, Like right now in Anaheim, people are stealing wires a lot. You know, like I might go into my Batman era. It'd be very sad and short, but
I will be your Robin.
yeah. Stop! Knock that off. It's not even
that.
worth that much.
There's gonna be a lot of roller skates and fucking Dave's electric scooter.
Yes. What would you put in your utility belt?
Hit indecent exposure.
Just hammers.
Just hammers. Just 6
Beat the
hammers.
shit out of people.
Yeah.
You
Damn,
threw
you
a
about to
hammer
go
at me. It's a
old boy?
battering, motherfucker.
So you about to go old boy style?
So try to bring this back.
A hallway full of wire stealers.
No,
I'll
let it go.
fuck everybody up.
You brought up like what you said last week about Batman being Batman. That's his identity. I want to shout out to the Batman, Robert Pattinson again, because they did a really good job with that. Because that was like year 2 Batman, right? That was the time frame.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've talked about this, how he didn't change his voice at all. Like, and he barely even changed the way he acted. Bruce Wayne and Batman were one character in that. And I thought that was such a cool thing for them to do. And I don't know how much of the audience like caught that idea that like, he wasn't even trying to be Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
He was Batman and he had to put on the suit because he couldn't go out dressed as a bat. And I'm curious if they'll explore that more in the sequel of him.
I didn't mind that because he was closer to like a year 1.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not
Batman.
complaining about it. I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so that was the thing when I watched that movie and you know, like when we were talking about Superman, it's like, oh, this actor got, you know, one of the alter egos down and didn't get the other one. So initially when I saw Pattinson's the Batman, Matt Reeves the Batman, one of my biggest complaints, because it's like stupid me, I didn't put it all together. Like, oh, he's still figuring it out because he is so much Batman that like that was a choice for him not to have like Bruce Wayne as like, you know, the billionaire entrepreneur. He didn't have that down. But initially it's like, man, his Bruce Wayne was lame. But now I really think about it, like, fuck, that was smart as shit.
But that's the thing. You have to look at that. So my favorite version.
Real quick. Christian Bale did the same thing too in Batman Begins, where he like turned on his Bruce Wayne.
I do love that movie so much. After I watched the Batman, I went back and watched Batman Begins. Oh, that movie's still so good.
Golden.
But it's just one of those things like when you have that type of character and he is like that, you know, where he's just cold in any version of himself. I do love to this day that year 1 Batman. Like that's probably my favorite version of a Batman is that year 1 MacGyver-ish, you know, Batman, where he's still trying to figure things out. And if he gets into, you know, some type of situation, like he has to look at his surroundings and he doesn't have all the answers in his utility belt. He doesn't have that, you know, quote unquote prep time version of Batman.
And
that was another Frank Miller comic, right? Also, didn't Frank Miller do the Batman year 1?
Is that right?
I know we're not talking about comic books too much, but they did do a more recently, like a year 0 or a 0 year Batman story. And that was really cool because that was literally him with like kitchen gloves on and like just like really just whatever he could find to go fight crime.
No one's beginning outfit's worse than Ezra Miller's The Flash.
Oh yeah, Batman Year 1 was written by Frank Miller.
Yeah, he was knocking it out the park. And then he did Batman All-Stars. Goddamn Batman.
Batman
What are
Year
you,
Zero.
Ditz? What are you? I'm the goddamn Batman.
That's what I was going to say.
Batman dropped the hard R on that one.
Yeah.
What's also fun about Batman Year 1, would it be safe to say that he is like, even for a dark and broody character, that he's hopeful, that he maybe like he's on this crusade because he thinks he's going to fix Gotham. But in the later years, like in the Dark Knight, you know, that whole saga and series, he's like, fuck it. You know, even with like Pattinson's, man, you guys are thirsty.
Sorry.
Even with not Pattinson's, Batfleck and was it BVS? BVS is when they first had. I'm totally blanking out now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to drink my water and confuse you.
Clean.
You know, everyone is, as a superhero, you set on this crusade, and when you're young, you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, even though for a dark and broody character, you have some form of hope, even if that hope is like beating the shit out of bad guys and, you know, doing all this dark shit. But then, you know, it's so fun it's fun to explore the early parts. And what's fun about Batman is in the later years, like with Frank Miller's Dark Knight, is he's still doing it, but it's kind of not really out of like I'm going to save the city. It's this whole darker version of that character.
Yeah, and to your point, like Affleck and BVS certainly because he was an older Batman, he was like at that point where he's branding people and this and that.
Yeah,
and then I think it was in
loopholes.
I think it was in Joss Whedon's Justice League is when he made the joke about like, oh, don't you miss mechanical or wind up penguins and stuff like that, which I appreciated that joke being in there because it's like, okay, at one point when he started, things might have been a little bit
simpler and silly.
Different, and then this broke him.
God,
and
we'll never fucking see that world. Sorry, it pisses me off to this day.
And yeah, but it works. As you think about any of us with a job, when you first start any job, like you're doing it right, and you're doing like you're trying to impress people, and you're hopeful that you're going to move up. But then
I've been in pest control for 14 fucking years.
Yeah, eventually you start, cutting corners or doing things quick and dirty, or
neither confirming nor denying that.
Yeah. Same here. Allegedly, I mean,
is it you that's stealing your own wires?
Everything out here is super safe.
I hit the
Nothing's gonna catch on fire.
Yeah. Oh Christ!
But yes, to that, I do want to say I do believe that he started off with that hope, but then it just got to a point, where he was like, I got to do what I got to do by any means necessary.
And I love that they explore that in some of the media.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to throw in Titans again because we talked about Titans last week.
I didn't like that Batman, by the way.
Sir Franzone from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. For all the reasons I didn't like that Batman.
Yeah. I thought it was such a weird choice.
Don't be light on it. Weird choice. The fuck?
He himself was like never in the bat suit. We did get some cool Batman action at the end of, I think, the first season when they were like going into the Batcave. Mm-hmm. But no, he was like never in the bat suit. And he was kind of a weird Bruce Wayne. But
he was very weird Bruce Wayne.
Spoilers, he killed the Joker in that. Yeah. Like he because the Joker killed Jason Todd. And then we find out that, Batman went and just fucking took out the Joker. It wasn't even like, it took years of brooding. It was like, no. No.
So I'm glad that you actually brought up that version of Titans because Dick Grayson, his whole thing is that he fucking, would you say he hates Bruce?
Fuck Batman.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the first episode.
That was even in the commercial, the first promo. Fuck Batman. I was like, it was a different show. But he in essence, like hates Batman. And so there's this whole thing of like, you turn me into a weapon. What are your thoughts on that? Of this guy, not only like, taking it upon himself to go on this crusade, but then to fucking recruit, 12-year-old? How old was Dick when he, around there, right?
It depends on the show.
I think it was 12-year-old Dick. Yeah.
Swinging from the trapeze.
Yeah.
I need Dick. I need it now.
So what do you think about Batman getting Dick?
with all that said, it was just a different time period where, a lot of people were getting sidekicks, people were just getting sidekicks left and right to bring in new audience, readers and all that kind of stuff. But for Batman, it is kind of, weird for him to be the person that he is, lost his parents at a young age and then, bringing a kid on into his crusade.
Not just one kid.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be, all these damaged kids, that aren't, that kind of lost their ways or lost something. Well, or he brings them in and he gives them this thing and they have a choice. It's not like he's quote unquote forcing them to stay.
It's called grooming.
Yeah.
That's what it's fucking called. It's called grooming.
I think Batman, in a way, he was so lost. He was so damaged, traumatized from what happened to him as a kid. And I think him becoming Batman probably in a way like made himself feel better and completed him or gave him a task, gave him a reason. Maybe it even answered a philosophical or even religious
purpose,
like debate of like, why would you do this to me? It's like, oh, this is my calling, right? Maybe, right? I don't know.
Or this worked for me. Maybe it'll work for somebody else.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So maybe, he sees someone like Dick Grayson lose his parents and realize like, okay, this kid's going to end up just like me. I mean, it's still an odd choice to be like, yeah, come on. you're coming with me.
Now I imagine it. I imagine Bruce going, you can brood, or you can fight crime. You know, like, or you can do nothing, or you can fight crime.
Do
really?
Do you guys
given a
remember
choice.
fucking Young Justice, where they're debating Captain Marvel, Shazam, his involvement in the League, like his membership.
Yeah, because he's a 10-year-old or whatever.
he's really 10 years old
And
in
Bruce
adult
and
body.
Batman knew it all along.
And they're talking about it, and they're like, well, you know, you knew he was 10 years old and he was fine with it. And they're like, Wonder Woman calls him out on that shit. He's like, oh yeah, let's talk about Robin, who you introduced to crowd fighting at the ripe old age of 12 years old.
So it is,
and he answers with that. It was like, you wanted him to end up like you, or I had to take him in because I didn't want certain things to happen. And he's like, you took him in so he'd end up like you. And he's like, no, I took him in so he wouldn't end up like me. I'm like, but he's still fighting crime with, you know, all your money and the toys and all that shit that he wouldn't have.
But I would say Nightwing, Robin, Dick Grayson has
not
a
as broody.
much different view of it all.
Yeah,
Like I think he's still fighting crime for the sake of like saving the world, saving Gotham, saving Bloodhaven, and
a little more
like,
hopeful.
We're more hopeful. Like I don't think it's quite as personal for Dick.
But I think like Batman's whole, like, any way you look at that storyline, him going and, you know, taking this kid in was noble, but like then actually letting him fight crime at that young age was it's fucked up.
Yeah, because he absolutely should have taken him in. Because Gotham obviously is a crime-ridden place. So you take an orphan kid, and he's probably going to go on and be a criminal. And so it's like, yeah, taking him in, and he could have just raised him as Bruce Wayne, but to choose that path, is
And
I
still,
don't know, maybe needed help.
and still going back on Titans, do you think that it was that Batman, that the Titans World Batman smart choice to then recruit fucking Jason Todd? What a dick. What a douchey little fucking dick.
Well, he always was. I mean, that's the one thing with Titans. The Titans storyline was very expedited, very quick. I mean, there was all three of the major Robins were in that show, and it was only like a 4-season show. Like they did it very quick.
They really leaned into Jason Todd's like being a little douche.
Yeah, and
attitude, too.
that actor did a great job with just how douchey Jason Todd was. I think, I mean, it would probably just be the same thing. Like, here's a kid that was already a criminal.
He was a badass Red Hood. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
took the helmet off. I'm like, douchebag.
But yeah, I think same thing. He was a kid that was just already a criminal, douchebag, and maybe, you know, Batman's like, all right, look, we need a Robin, and here's an opportunity to stop someone from being a criminal and turn them into something else.
Speaking of fucking Jason Todd and the Red Hood, animated features.
Jensen Ackles.
Under the Red Hood is pretty much like my favorite animated film. The animated series still, you know, stands atop all of them all. But Jensen Ackles as Jason Todd, like his emotion in that character, like the whole way that was voice acted was, oh my God, it was amazing.
Ackles is great. If no one's familiar with Jensen Ackles, he was one of the two brothers in the Winchester brothers in Supernatural, and he is what the hell is it? Homelander's dad in
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy. In
Speaking
The
of
Boys.
him,
and he's goddamn good looking.
the internet as the fan cast of the new Batman.
They've been wanting him for a minute.
Yeah, they want him to
Did
Don.
He's voiced
A
Batman. I
And
think
was it Long
recently.
Halloween? Did he voice him in Long Halloween?
I-
I should look it up.
I don't
Yeah.
remember if it was that one.
I am excited for the James Gunn Batman just because he's going to bring in Damian Wayne, Batman's son, and I think there's some good storyline, and it's fun that
that'll be a good
we're immediately
dynamic.
going to get a Robin, and you know it's not going to be any of the Robins we want, but the fact that it's going to be Damian, I hope that means the Nightwing and stuff exist
Yeah.
in that universe.
Did you see whose name is popping up as Damien frontrunner?
No,
Timothy Chalamet, the Dune kid.
yeah, I know. Yeah, he's like 20 something, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Willy Wonka.
right.
It's like maybe they're going to give him a little bit older, so they don't have to suffer through his, you know, his early years.
But him being a little
years.
punk is what made the comic so fun.
The Long Halloween, Jensen Ackles.
Damien wanted a cow, and so they brought a cow. So there's a bat cow in the comic books.
Wasn't it just because
We're not talking about the comic books.
the cow had like his moo pattern was looked like a bat?
I think so.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
they found him like while they were
Oh,
doing
Lord.
some mission or whatever. Yeah, it's great.
Hasn't he collected like a whole fucking like menagerie? Is like
Yeah.
bat mutt and bat
The dog's
cow.
like Titan, or I think the dog's name is Titan. I forget. I don't know, but
Can I give an honorable mention? The Batman animated series. I don't know if it was CW at the time. Might have just
believe
been
it was.
WB. CW.
Yeah.
2004 through 2008. I was trying to see I couldn't find who voice acted Batman, but that was an interesting and fun take because that was like year 1, year 2 Batman. So that thing of like exploring that, but in the animated series was very fun. And of course you still got your like voiceover cameos. You had Kevin Conroy who voiced I forgot. He voiced somebody in the show, and then Adam West voiced the mayor. So I mean, still like paying homage to
Mayor West from Family Guy.
Oh shit, that's right. What a great cast, by the way. Yeah, Mayor Adam West of Gohog.
Do you guys have a favorite bat suit?
Ooh, great question.
Affleck's suit, I think, was just the most comic book. Like it was from the comic books, but it looked so well, like so
Oh, yeah,
good.
that's mine.
Fantastic.
his
Batfleck.
fucking his Batfleck, his armored bat suit.
Oh, that was so cool.
Looked almost like
Oh, the mech suit?
yeah.
Yeah.
It looked almost dead even for the Dark Knight Returns
Dark
suit.
Knight.
Yeah.
God, I couldn't fucking remember. Like,
I think
I hate when my brain
Pattinson's
farts.
suit looks cool too for again being like a year 2 Batman. It looks a little bit more homemade. And then I know we read it. I can't remember if in the movie they confirmed that the bat symbol is made from like
They never did.
this
Yeah, they
cross
never
section.
said
Not
that.
cross
The
section.
gun.
Yeah, the gun that killed his
the gun
parents.
that killed his
Yeah.
parents.
They never
Yeah.
talked about it,
Yeah,
and I'm
never confirmed.
very pissed about that. I had to like read up on it, so it's like, does it even count in there?
Well, didn't Kevin Smith actually do that for like the little one shot Batman story that he did? Like I'm pretty sure that was where the idea came from. Well,
Oh, maybe.
where people were like, "Oh, this looks like this." Maybe it's it is what it is.
Also, it's a massive ass batarang too. Oh, I have a batarang in storage. I got to bring that shit in. It's the one from the.
Mine's right there.
Oh, I don't have that. Mine's from the Arkham games. So it's
Oh,
like
that's
it's
a cool
it's
one,
it's
too.
a
Oh,
sonar
I like
one.
that
It's,
one.
it's the full like click whoosh whoosh opens up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. One question I wanted to ask was, do you guys, I mean, asking you guys, I'm sure the answer is going to be yes, but do you want to see like the whole Bat family in a movie?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I think that could be a shared universe on its own. Like
Yeah,
if
They,
they don't,
could do their own thing.
like there's so much story to be told with Nightwing, Batgirl, spoiler, Signal, Batwoman.
So yes, but not in like the first one. Like I want them to do what Batflick, the Zack Snyder was supposed to do with Batman, and like set up his movies and eventually get all those characters. So inevitably, have your
36 movies later, we'll have the
bingo, dude. Come on, we're again a great time to be a nerd, dog.
Well, I look at some of the comic
No
book
shortage of
stories
stuff.
where they do the big like Gotham stories, and they kind of like split the teams up. I almost feel like you could do something like that, like almost a trilogy set in Gotham.
I just don't want them to rush it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if James Gunn started with the Damian Robin and then introduced a couple of the Bat family in each successive movie and giving them time to like Nightwing and fucking Batgirl were in this movie. Like even if if we just mentioned off screen something, and then in the next movie they introduced a couple more, and then gave him his own movie separate from the universe where all those people that I mentioned actually come together. Like at least they're dropping the names
Yeah.
and they're establishing the lore of who exists and who doesn't, and then bringing those together. I'd be
Oh,
okay
man.
with that.
Like letting the audience know like this exists.
I just got this like image in my head of same thing. Like over the movies, they've kind of mentioned them, showed them, or whatever, and then when they finally do the big, in-game equivalent,
they all show up.
they flash to the different cities of like maybe it's a big invasion and they flash to Metropolis and like Superman and maybe Crypto and stuff or so, and then they flash to Gotham and just all of them.
Oh, that'd be fun. CW, I think the Flash, the Crisis on Infinite Earths, they did that. They they essentially like made all TV shows and movies canon as far as like being part of the multiverse. Before the Flash, Ezra Miller, the Flash did it. Some bitch. As far as things that didn't happen, how did you guys feel? Speaking of Snyderverse, how did you guys feel when I think it was Snyder that confirmed that the dead Robin was Dick Grayson?
I was going to say fuck Zack Snyder, but I'm sure it would have been a compelling scene if they had actually filmed it where Joker kills Dick Grayson. But I wanted Dick Grayson in his own shit for so long, like movie wise, that to have him off screen like that, like just to see the suit with the Joker's writing on that, like that, I felt like a little insulting to me.
Man, I remember fucking screen grabbing that thing and just zooming in on it for just looking. Oh my god, who's could it be? And
Yeah, and they confirmed in Suicide Squad that it was Harley Quinn that killed him.
oh shit.
At the very beginning of David Ayer's, it like
Her-
flashes up
fuck,
like Killer
that's
Robin or
right,
something
that's
like
right.
that. It's one of those things like, okay, it is what it is, but also I don't understand why they would choose Dick Grayson. I mean, I guess because if you have an existing Dick Grayson and then you have, I don't know. I guess maybe they just didn't want Nightwing showing up. Or maybe they wanted this Batman to be more broken where he tried a sidekick, got him killed. And so now he's very much like, I don't want a team. I don't want to work with anybody. That like, him having Nightwing and move on and then just getting another partner and then this one dies. I don't know. I mean,
But this is why a lot of people didn't grasp that this was DCEU.
Mm-hmm.
It was an extended universe. It wasn't related to anything that was happening. So this was its own thing. So therefore, you could have all these what ifs in there, but it didn't transfer well with a lot of people. So
I don't think it was really an Elseworlds type of story. I think it was just his interpretation of it. And in his interpretation, he decided Dick Grayson's death would wear more on Batman. And the Batman we get in that movie is super broken. So.
No, but that's exactly it. It's just that Batman, that particular Batman, lost Dick Grayson instead of,
Jason Todd.
Yeah, Jason Todd. But that's just what it is. And if you're a person that can't accept that, that it's just this movie, then you're going to be hurt.
You're right. It would be a deeper motivator to create to have that influence a Batman to fucking brand people, find that loophole branding people and sending him off to prison.
Yeah, but
so they're gonna die.
if Zack Snyder had been able to continue that series, then we would have been stuck with Dick Grayson's dead, and then like, how do you move into the rest of the Bat family from there?
Well, that's just
I don't think we would have ever gotten it in that.
You might not have gotten that because, his plan was only to make 5 movies in general, and I even heard in his grand scale of things, I think Batman was probably supposed to die in this series too. So he was supposed to be done.
Batman and Wonder Woman were supposed to die in the first, because it's supposed to be a 2-part Justice League movie, and they were supposed to die in the first part. But I think somehow, with the Flash's quantum, time tunneling shit, like they were supposed to come back for the second part. But like they were supposed to. It was darker. It was a lot darker than.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, as far as things that didn't come to fruition, how do you guys feel about Batgirl never going to see the screen or never going to hit any screens?
I was excited for that movie.
Because I don't know if I was excited about like the actress playing her, but I liked like the comic accurate suit and Brendan Fraser as Firefly, and I think Michael Keaton was going to pop up in there. I think even a younger
I
version.
heard that was supposed to be in the Keaton Batman universe.
Mhm.
I do believe that specific Batgirl movie was supposed to take place.
J.K. Simmons was going to be Gordon in that one.
I think, I think there was a whole kind of confusion about which universe it was going to be in. But no, I was excited for it. Yeah, because Brandon Fraser, I love him, and he's in Doom Patrol, and it's fucking amazing. And and just the Mummy. Yeah,
Just
that guy.
screaming fuck every other word.
And Leslie Grace, because I follow her on Instagram, and I think she was very excited to be Batgirl, and so I really felt for her. And
We never got a trailer either, right?
no, we got nothing.
No footage
And
at all.
that's what sucks.
Set photos.
Yeah, because all we got, and we've talked before about how set photos always are going to make costumes look horrible, and
I thought it still looked good.
yeah, it was based off. God, was that Gail Simone, the writer? Yeah, they did a story with Batgirl after they brought back Barbara as not being paralyzed. Where she moved to another town and she kind of abandoned like the money and was doing Batgirl like on her own. And she had that cool little purple suit. And, it would have been fun.
Jacket and docks and everything. Like
I like that costume, that comic version of her. It would have been interesting to see on the screen. I was a little afraid for that movie though, because they were doing it in a vacuum and it wasn't a part of a grander storyline. And I think all those Bat family members, well, they can do their own movies. I think they function better when they're all together in the same kind of shared Bat universe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. The interaction between all the quote unquote Bat kids has always been just super fun, and it grows their characters more. And
so what was the reason why it got was canceled, right?
tax write off.
That's what
It was straight up just they could write it all off because it was multi tens of millions of dollars. And
Has there been anything else in the nerd realm that's done that?
Not that I've ever heard publicized so widely.
yeah, because
Like I'm sure it's happened before, because otherwise how would they know to do that, or like how could that be a precedent that they will follow? But nothing that I've ever heard of.
yeah, I'm sure it happens all the time.
And honestly,
it's just-
I do feel
Not publicized.
and
they-
it's a superhero movie. Like those are supposed to be the big hot thing. So
Yeah.
of course it's going to make news when one gets canceled.
because of the recent DC movies that came out, they look at it and say it's a flop. I do think now that they think that was a good idea to not release the Batgirl movie, because you have The Flash, then you had Blue Beetle that came out and it didn't do so good. So maybe now they're looking at it like, oh well.
It's the same. I like Blue Beetle.
Yeah, that was actually surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be.
But I heard a lot of people online saying it's Ant-Man.
What, the Blue Beetle?
Yeah, that it's exactly like Ant-Man. This guy gets a suit, and there's a tech company, that wants the suit.
It's so much of any other.
he's
Yeah,
taking over.
it's okay. Yeah, it fits into one of the 10
Yeah, but that's just
story
what I'm
options you
hearing.
have.
Yeah, it's
That's
like the
what I'm
story
hearing.
of this guy who wants to like do good for people with the powers that he gets. Fucking original.
I will say that like I'm not a huge fan of like even their tagline was for the Blue Beetle was he's a superhero whether he likes it or not. It's like I hate that shit. Like the whole idea of the reluctant hero. You want to do a reluctant hero, you look at like Han Solo, right? Where he's actually a badass and he's just like, I don't really want to do this, but all right, fucking, I'll do it to get paid or whatever.
But as far as like Blue Beetle himself, wasn't that the whole thing? That kid
Yeah,
he didn't mean to have the beetle.
yeah.
sync up with
It's
him.
his character, and maybe hate's too strong of a word, but it just. I think I told you guys in the first place, I was so afraid it was just going to be a lot of screaming. And so I think I went into that movie and I was just expecting like, oh, you're controlling me. What are you doing?
I thought they really did a lot because I know
they didn't do too much of it.
Blue Beetle depicted in like the cartoons was a lot of that too. Instead of just like if I can go along with it.
Back to Batman.
Anyway,
sorry.
before we get out of here, I need everyone's favorite Batman. Who's your favorite answer, baby Conroy?
It's so easy to say Affleck. And again, though, that might be just influenced by he was the only Batman to be part of a larger universe. So just a larger universe and like a different interpretation. But I mean, yeah, I guess if I were to look at your question as like, who would I want to see more of? It would probably be still Affleck's Batman. I think there was just a much where like we kind of got his intro and then, we glossed over his intro and then we got like this point and now we're like at his redemption. I think it'd be a good story.
I like that grittiness that he had for his version of Batman. I do like Christian Bale's Batman, but I think I like more Batman Begins than anything. Like I know everybody likes the Joker one, but I really like the origin, the reimagined of how that Batman came to be and how he was trained by like the League of Shadows and all that whole sequence, you know, with him going up to the temple and all that stuff and that training and all that stuff with all the ninjas in there and
Liam Neeson.
oh man,
And then even him like living a life of crime, like even though he was
Yeah.
stealing from himself, but that gave him that like insight into
I love
that criminal
exactly.
underworld.
I love that version of Batman, the training, the dedication, and all that stuff. But I feel like I like the grittiness of Batfleck, so it's kind of tough for me. But if I had the choice out of those two, like I'd probably say Batfleck.
So for live action, for me, it same all around. Batfleck. For I'll just keep it simple. Everything that you guys said. For animated, it has to be the 90s animated series with Kevin Conroy and fucking Mark Hamill as the Joker. Like that is the Joker voice for me. I still try to fuck around with that voice every now and again. It's so Joker. It's that thing of like that villain that is flashy and just the way that he speaks with like that sort of like vaudevillian, you know.
I did hear that he said that like doing the Joker hurts his voice or hurts his vocal cords or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that.
I forget which animated, which series or movie it was in, but they had a scene where the Joker and the Flash's villain that he voiced, the
Trickster?
was it Trickster?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah, it was the
Trickster.
Trickster.
Those two team up and then kidnap Mark Hamill.
That's hilarious.
And then-
that's got to be Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, you know what I think it was. They're driving the car,
Oh,
and
meta
the two
shows.
of them are in the front seat, and all of a sudden you hear like one of them says, "You should have turned left right there, dummy," and one turns on and is like, "Who the hell you call it dummy?" And then like they drive a little further, and the other one says something insulting to the other one, and then they start fighting each other. Like, what the hell? How are you talking shit? And then they crash, and Mark Hamill goes out the back seat and is like, "Didn't you know I was a voice actor too?" And like it's so super meta and like just cheesy dumb. I was like, I make a smile. On my
I've
face
never
all the
watched The
time.
Brave and the Bold, but I've heard things about that like being meta. That's fun.
It has a lot of Batman 66 kind of camp to it, but you know, a little updated. That doesn't feel quite as con queso as you know that one was.
So no one's gonna say like Will Arnett for the Lego Batman.
Oh, the Lego Batman. I don't know if I ever saw the dedicated Lego Batman movie, but I did enjoy Lego Batman in the Lego movie.
I love the way he played that character. He's Batman, but he's still like, you know, that cheese ball that Will Arnett kind of brings to like a lot of his characters.
Well, Diedrich Bader, who voiced him in that one, I think he comes back and voices him in Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, that does sound
Yeah.
like him.
I love the Batman in that one because it's such a fun mix of just Batman of old and new, and like and then still in like that meta realm. That Harley Quinn show is fun.
I don't know if it's just because we experienced Batman 66 and have already like maybe that notch in our brain that accepts silly Batman, or if it's just like something about Batman's story and his villains and the Bat family just lends itself to like every once in a while, like we can do funny with this. I don't know. I don't have much more to add to that. I just think it's interesting that out of all of the characters, I think that's the easiest one to be silly with. Maybe because it's all like all his villains are representations of like psychological disorders, and we all like can relate, and then most of us relate with those through comedy. And so
Fuck you! I own my shit. Before we get all sad and depressed,
Hold on. For me, to answer my own
Oh,
question, it's the same as yours though. Live action, Ben Affleck, and but Jermaine mentions like the way he moves is as close to like comic book Batman as you're ever going to see on screen. You know, for now.
Yeah.
But that whole warehouse scene where he's after
dude,
Martha
best
Kent,
fucking fighting sequences.
like I
Can't even think about it because I'm gonna get teary eyed.
I just go back and watch.
It means
that
so
scene,
much
like,
to me. I
at
don't know about
least-
everybody else, but
Oh, yeah.
to me,
at least like twice a week. Like it'll pop up on my feed because I watch it so much. It's like, hey, you haven't watched this in a couple of days. So, yeah, cool. Let me watch it again real quick.
Yeah, that's my one comment about The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Like, I was excited for that movie, and I thought the movie was generally really, really good, but there was no scene that I really need to go back to. So, like, the warehouse scene was amazing. Like like you said, I would watch that scene over and over. The car chase scene was great, but we saw that in the trailer so much. By the time we saw it in the movie, it was like, oh yeah, that's what we saw in the commercial.
That's the thing. It was filmed really well.
Oh yeah, and
I liked everything.
The ending, I love that. Like, we got this almost not quite conspiracy theory, but just that idea of like you can use the Riddler can use the internet to like antagonize or like get unstable people to go and like start shooting at people. Like, I loved it. It was so modern and like we talked about, like it was an early Batman, but again, there was no really cool moment.
See, that's why I went back home and immediately watched Batman Begins. Not to say that the Batman was a bad movie. It was a solid movie to me. But I went back and watched Batman Begins and I was like, I just needed
Comfort
that.
movie.
Christopher
I just
Nolan, I
needed
think,
that.
absolutely understands that idea of like, you got to give people those moments. Just those little, sometimes they're a big grandiose moment or just those small moments. Like Batman Begins, I will always love when it's like, you lost your footing and then like the tap of the ice and then it falls through. Like it's so small of a scene, but memorable.
Right.
Because it's such a lesson.
So-
You sacrificed your footing for the killing blow, right?
The only scene that I remember or that sticks out to me from the Batman, which is the one they burned in the trailer, where he just beats the shit out of the thug, where he
that's right.
beats the hell out of it. Like I'll every once in a while, like I'll run across that. Oh, let me watch that. Like, ooh, yeah.
I guess maybe that's it. Is the trailers really showed all those moments, and so by the time I saw the movie, it was.
I do
there.
like
The
fact
brutality of that movie.
that everybody in Gotham City was afraid of him. Like, they just kept looking in the shadows.
Oh, that intro
yeah,
to that movie. Oh,
that
dude, it's fucking
I need to
cool.
watch
that
that movie.
That intro, and then it was the scene where he went with Commissioner Gordon. Like, it was just a small scene, but it said so much when he went and that little kid was in there. And I think the kid, lost his parents too. And he just kept looking at him and he kept looking at him and and then later on you found out, that he was recording everything, but he's just looking at that footage, but it was just him just, staring at the kid. And I was like,
Seeing that kid's origin story.
moment. Yeah.
It definitely had a out of all the Batman movies, I want to say like I felt like it had some of the most emotional storyline.
Oh yeah,
I did kind of feel like that adrenaline spike thing came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
but it was just one of those things. Like, I just let it be when he got it, and he, stuck it in his leg. And
Hey, listen, when you have Batmans of old having
Amped
shark
up.
repellent, so yeah.
You don't think that was like a sort of ninja callback to Bane's Venom? Like, maybe he ran across that guy already and kind of took that for himself, or
I need my bat powder.
maybe like I had like a bunch of thoughts with it too, but because it wasn't explained, anything, like I said, we'll see what happens in the next one. But just the fact that it came out of the mist for me.
real quick. I know we're trying to wrap this up. The Joker. We didn't really talk about it because Batman's not in it, but Bruce Wayne certainly is. But they're working on the Joker 2, which is going to be a musical with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
Joaquin Phoenix's.
Yeah. But do you, I mean, I guess Batman was just a kid in that one, but do you expect them to bring in a Batman? Because I think at one time there were rumors of Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman being Batman in that Joker series.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I could be wrong on that, but
I think at
there
this
was
point,
rumors.
because they
I'm Batman,
showed him as a
bitch.
little kid,
Yeah, it'd
and
be
for that time jump to happen,
White, I'm Batman, bitch.
That was good.
it would be
Thank you.
it would be weird.
Yeah, I think a lot of the rumors were out before the movie came out, and then because that was like kind of the big surprise at the end of it was that they did link it to Bruce Wayne. But I'm still kind of,
But there was
I'm
such
very interested in that movie.
But there was
The
such like a giant age gap for that one.
Yeah, that's what he was just saying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's
you were
what I was
busy.
thinking of my impersonation.
Yeah,
But that was the thing that got me with that show Gotham, was kind of why I couldn't really get into it, because you get introduced to, all these villains, it is Gotham, and you have, you know, the story of Commissioner Gordon. I wish it would have just been a story about Commissioner Gordon, and kind of not linking it too much to Batman. But the fact that you had Batman villains in there, I'm like, by the time Batman becomes of age, that's why he beats up his villains, because he's beating up old people.
Yeah. I mean, like you see them come to like their character and stuff, but no, ADHD blanked out.
Yeah.
Oh no. So the character that they did more right than a lot of other versions of this was the Joker. Like they leaned into that like multiple Joker thing.
Yeah.
I thought the Penguin was pretty good in Gotham also.
I've heard about that. I never watched the show. I started to. I was
They're
high
good.
too often, and so I didn't. I
They're
hyperanalyzed
good.
it.
My only gripe was the villains were so, you know, they were already, you know, like in their 30s, and Batman was still a little kid. So like I said, by the time he became Batman,
the age just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think we could blame the audience for that because the original idea for the show was going to be Gordon before he was commissioner, you know, long before he was commissioner.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I think they were going to like use it as an opportunity to introduce these villains that maybe we've never even heard of before because it was pre-Batman.
Exactly. You had a whole situation.
And everyone was instantly just like, a Batman show without Batman.
They could have totally went like true crime.
Absolutely.
Heavy mob influences, like show how those two forces played against each other and kind of started developing, you know, these unstable criminals instead of bringing
like
in
how Gotham, you know, kind of got, you know, its
reputation.
Yeah, they could have just they could have worked.
And if they wanted
somehow.
Batman characters in there, you got Alfred. You have what's the doctor that he used to go to a
Leslie
lot? Thompson. Yeah, like they could have introduced her. Like they could have brought in.
Didn't they? Wasn't she?
I didn't watch that. I watched like 2 seasons.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh, I think they did.
Miranda Baccarin. Because
Did they pull the plug on a CW like Gotham Knights show?
Yeah,
I think I heard bad things, but then I heard like it was one of the more watched shows.
Did nobody watch Birds of Prey? The CW.
Oh my god! Before we wrap, I got a couple interesting Batman facts.
Yeah.
Do you guys know how much Batman is worth?
It's in the billions, right? Like 30 billion.
Anybody else?
I'm sure they've adjusted it over the years.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
What
20
what is he
billion.
worth today?
Seven bill.
$7 billion?
That's
$7
it.
bill.
Jeez, one bill's
That's
like the
not cool.
Bama bill.
Yeah.
You know what's cool? Billions with the B.
Right. And the origin of Gotham City came from a phone book. So they said that the writer was trying to think of a name for the city, and he just flipped through the phone book and he just pointed to something, and it was Gotham Jewelers. So that's how Gotham City got its name.
And we're mad about ChatGPT coming up with stuff.
Right.
That was their idea back then. Flip through a random book and a phone book of all fucking things.
Yeah.
They never referred to New York as
New York
Gotham?
used to be Gotham, or New York.
Well, I know like
Now it's Chicago.
darkness and architecturally speaking, New York was kind of a model for Gotham, but I didn't know the actual name was lifted from a fucking phone book.
No, because I watch National Women's Soccer League, and the New York team is called Gotham something. Like New York, I just looked it up. Like 1807 is when I think parts of New York were started to be called Gotham. So maybe Gotham Jewelers was based in New York or something like that. But I think
wherever the person was, that was it was a thing called Gotham Jewelers. But
What else you got, baby boy?
Yeah. Any other fun
other
facts?
ones, Batman apparently knows 127 versions of martial arts, 23 plus languages. He has a 192 IQ level, deadlifts 600 to 1,000 pounds.
Depending on the Batman.
Yeah, but those are little fun facts about him.
That's fun. Speaking, you brought up the martial arts, though. What did you guys think? I mean, we're so over time. What did you guys think about in the Nolan series? Him using Krav Maga or whatever, the Israeli martial arts, the elbow boxing.
It makes the fighting look more real instead of like hiya, hoya.
Well, more real and like different. I think that was one of Nolan's reasons behind it, was he wanted Batman to come in with like a different style than what we've seen before. Because at that time, especially, I don't think the world had really been introduced to too much of it.
Yeah.
My only complaint about it was we never got to fucking see it, because no matter how great those movies are, any fight scene, the camera was like stuck, like taped to someone's belt, and then they just filmed
It's
it.
always a whirly
Yeah.
And as far
swish
as
of a cape, and then like
Yeah, the behind the scenes
Battering on
stuff,
the
you
neck.
got to see the crowd, you got to see the elbow boxing, and you got to see it a little bit in the scenes, but the actual footage was just.
And speaking of Batman's fighting style, I said it a little earlier, but I want to fucking say this loud on the mic. Like the Batman's fighting, the brutality of his fighting, just beating the fuck out of people. Like the warehouse scene in BVS is really awesome and dynamic,
But that was fighting with passion,
right?
like fiery passion. But go ahead, continue.
He's fucking kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah, and the warehouse scene was also in a time frame. I think if Affleck wasn't like under the pressure of like trying to save,
Oh, I got you.
Like he probably, Affleck
enjoyed
probably
it.
would have been pretty brutal too. But his was a brutality on a butt, like
but what
on a
you
time
saw,
frame.
but as far as like what you saw on screen, fucking Pattinson's,
Yeah,
I think Pattinson's brutality was rooted in like strategy to like intimidate the
Yeah.
shit out of
Oh,
everybody.
and it
else.
worked. Oh, and it
Yeah.
worked.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like everything about that movie, the fear that all the bad guys had, and just the violent everything, it all worked in that movie.
Yeah.
yeah. The corruption in Gotham, I'm sure, like being tied up and left for the cops doesn't mean anything. Getting the shit kicked out of you and then tied up for the cops, that's scary.
Well,
Anyway.
beat me harder, Daddy. We're gonna wrap this shit up.
Let's put a butt plug in this one.
We didn't even get to say like favorite Batmobile.
We can
No,
save that.
we're-
We've talked about a whole episode based off like
Okay.
fictional
Vehicles,
Yeah,
vehicles and
okay.
stuff like that.
We'll
save it.
Yeah,
We'll
We'll
save
save
it.
that for that.
So in the meantime, check us out on our social medias at The Hype Attack on Instagram and TikTok.
Keep that conversation going.
You're always surprised when I throw it to you.
Because I always feel like you have like sometimes you say more and then sometimes you say less. And
Yeah,
you're
you
just
know,
like,
but I point.
you're just like Instagram dog. It's like what? Okay, yeah, conversations
Keeping you
go.
on your toes.
Yeah.
It's being in the present.
Yeah, yeah.
So if there's anything that we might have missed, hit us up in the comments and in the DMs. Tell us what who your favorite Batman and Batmobile, and we'll save that discussion for later, are. Any last words, Jermaine, Rudy?
Keep those butts plugged.
Jesus Christ! Oh yeah,
Lord.
yeah. We're gonna. How are we gonna do that? It's gonna be a questionnaire. It's gonna be a poll.
We'll do it like everywhere.
Just an open
you
forum?
just reach back there and shove it up there.
Fuck me.
Just
an open
if you
forum.
need to put it on a poll. Then
Sometimes you need to relax a
Seriously.
little bit.
And here we go.
Oh man! Speaking of which, you gotta check out my TikTok. I do a stupid little thing of my own impression of
Well-
Heath Ledger's Joker.
I don't want to put too much emphasis on like the Spotify polls because not a lot of people see those
Okay,
yet.
we'll stick with that.
So I
IG.
think we should,
Okay.
for Instagram,
But we need Rudy
X.
to come out in a purple trench coat and be like, "You want to see this butt plug disappear?"
I'm like a. He's gonna go.
Now for Magic Joker. I will make
grab
this
him.
butt plug.
I'm like a Douglas with the butt plug. I
You
wouldn't know what to
grab
do
him
with
and
it.
pick him up.
End it.
No, because we can do it with Isaac because Isaac's lying, where I just grab Isaac and just sit him on the table. I just watch his eyes roll back in his head and fall over. Oh my god!
Then I want you to say out
Oh,
loud.
dude, that was close.
And then I want you to
spinning,
say
guys.
out loud, "Gee Willikers."
Holy bloody hole,
And when you're done,
Batman.
say, "Oh, what a lovely tea party."
God damn it.
Oh, what a lovely tea party.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
Well, hey,
Whatever,
guys, check us out.
same hype time.
Check
Same
us
hype.
out next Friday. Same hype time.
Same hype channel.
Hype attack.